Guitar Gear Trading Tactics, Episode 2 and 2.5. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Guitar Gear Trader channel. I'm Steve, coming at you as always from Nashville, Tennessee. If you wouldn't mind, before we start the show, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and follow me on Instagram at Guitar Gear Trader. So today, I want to continue the series that I started about 2 episodes ago that I am calling the Guitar Gear Trader Tactics, or the Guitar Gear Tactics series, where I show you how I use certain tactics to get the gear I want for as little money as possible. Hopefully you don't have to put any money out if possible. Sometimes you can just trade what you have. Sometimes you do have to put a little money out, or sometimes you're just straight up buying things. But these are all tactics that you can use to get the price down to where you want it and to put out as little money as possible. So the first episode in this series, I discussed something called a bluff bid. And a bluff bid, that's what I call it anyway, that's the term I gave it, is where you offer someone a significantly lower price than what they're asking for, with 3 basic outcomes, right? The first outcome could be they tell you to go kick rocks and they block you and they tell you you're a jerk for insulting them with that offer, which hopefully doesn't happen. It does happen very rarely, but hopefully it doesn't. Number 2, they come back with a counter offer that is slightly above or within range of what you offered them. Or the best case scenario is that they accept the offer that you think is a real lowball offer. And that's what happened to me in the last episode, where I offered like $2,000 under what someone was asking for a vintage White Falcon, and they accepted my offer, which I was super stoked about. Now, sometimes you have to really make sure that you have the money and the funds to follow through with that purchase, if that's what you're going to do. But as long as you make sure that you do have the funds for that and that you can pay the piper once the person accepts your offer, then you're golden. Okay. Today, I want to talk to you about number 1, buying things you don't need at really good prices for equity purposes, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. And number 2, really looking at the details of other people's descriptions on their products that they're selling, or their items that they're selling on different platforms, especially for this episode, especially for Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or something that's not necessarily like a Reverb or an eBay or something like that. It's mostly for people buying and selling items without a middleman, right? It's just a one-to-one for sale by owner type of things. So, number 1, buying things you don't necessarily need, but they are a really good price. I do this all the time. I buy things that I don't necessarily need or I don't necessarily want, only because they are a great deal. And I buy them with the intent on using them as equity for a future trade or a future purchase somewhere down the line. Okay, so here's what I did recently. Okay, so I went on vacation in March. I went down to Panama City Beach, and while I was down there, I went on Facebook Marketplace to see if there were any good deals, or to see if there's anything that I personally liked, within where I was. I found a guitar store that was going out of business, and he had a brand new Orange Rocker Verb 15, or it's Orange Rocker 15, not the Verb 15, but it's Orange Rocker 15. It's a little 15-watt orange amp with a 1x10 speaker in it that gets super low bedroom quiet. It goes down to like half a watt. Brand new with tags on it. Never played. The like I said, the store was going out of business, and he needed to get rid of his stock so that he can recoup some of his money. This amp goes for almost $1,000. brand new on Sweetwater. This amp is $899, and he was asking for 6. Now that's a good deal. That's a $300 discount. I offered him 4. That was like my bluff bid, and he asked me for $450. And I said, you know what? That's a pretty good price. That's 50% off market value, and it's brand new. It's not like it's a used amp or anything like that, or it's been taken on tour or anything like that. It's a brand new amp with tags, never used. Tolex is perfect, and it's black. It normally comes in orange, but it has the black Tolex, which I think is pretty cool because you don't see that very often. So I picked that up while I was in Panama City Beach, and again, I don't need this amp. I have other orange amps that are much higher wattages. I don't necessarily need an amp for bedroom volumes like this amp is really intended. It has a bedroom switch on it so that you can get a real low volume. I don't necessarily need that, but I thought it would be good to have in the future just in case I wanted to use it as equity for a different purchase, right? Because in my head, this amp is valued at $900, right? That's $900 from a store. So in my head, a resale on Facebook or on Craigslist, I'm thinking maybe I can get $700 out of it, right? So I paid $450, but I'm valuing it at $700 or $750 in my head for a future purchase. So I bought that. I hold on to it. A couple of weeks later, I'm scrolling through Facebook again, and while I was in Panama City after I bought this amp, I went to a guitar store, and they had a Laney amp. I think it was called the Laney Lionheart. And it was this really cool amp. I never played through a Laney before. It's this blue Tolex with this beige grate on it. It says Laney. I played through it at the guitar store. It was brand new. They were asking for $12.99 for this amp, and it was really, really super cool. I liked it a lot. I was thinking about purchasing it, but I ended up not. I ended up buying this orange amp for a lot cheaper. I had some stuff with me that I figured I could trade for the Laney at the store. I ended up never doing it for whatever reason. But I came home and I was on Facebook, and I come across it's weird how this stuff happens, but I came across this amp. It's the exact Laney amp that I was playing at the guitar store. Obviously it's not new, but it's the same exact amp. It's a 5-watt amp. That's probably the thing that made me not want to buy it. I felt $1,300 for a 5-watt amp was a little steep. So I didn't want to trade for it or buy it outright. But a couple weeks later, it's funny how that works. This amp shows up on Facebook, and someone's asking $400 for it. And I almost jumped out of my seat. I was like, $400? This amp is $1,300 new. So I email him, and I was like, hey, would you take $200? Bluff bid. Now I'm willing to pay $300 for this, but I don't want to tell him that. I'm going to tell him I want to pay $200 and see what he comes back with. So I say, would you take $200? He says, no, I'll take $300. I said, you got a deal. I went, I picked it up. It wasn't in mint condition. This picture actually makes it look better than what it is. The only thing that was wrong with this amp was the treble knob was very scratchy. When you're playing through it and you're messing around with the treble knob, it's very, very scratchy. But once you have it set in place, it's fine. The handle was a little worn out, and some of the words and letters on the control plate were a little worn out. But overall, the amp worked perfect. There was nothing wrong with the amp itself. So I picked this up for $300. Right? So for, let's see, what am I at now? $750. I have 2 all-tube British-made amps. Right? This Laney is made in the UK. And this orange was made in the UK, and this orange is brand spanking new. So I have these 2 amps. I have them sitting in my room, and I'm not using them. I'm not playing through them. I played through them to make sure they worked. I did a demo on the orange amp. It was a cool little amp. They're both really nice little amps, but neither one of them are amps that I'm going to bring out, with the band or anything like that. They're too small, and they don't do what I want them to do. But they're nice amps. Somebody can use these. So now this brings me to, what can I do with these? So I've been getting into Friedman amps. So I go on Facebook and I type in Friedman amps on a regular basis, and I'm just scrolling through to see what they have. And I find this. I find this listing for this Friedman JJ Jr 20-watt head. Now, I've been trying to get as much amp heads as possible instead of the combos, because I think they will display better in my room that I'm building, and I think that it's just easier to swap them out when you want to use one head over another one. You can plug them into the same cabinets for the most part, and you can just easily swap them out whenever you want. If you want to take one head out and on to a show, it's not a big deal. You're going to take the same cabinet anyway. So I was really interested in this Friedman JJ Jr head that was on Facebook. The guy wants, as you can see, it says sold because he sold it to me. He wanted $900 for it. And if you look at his description, it says excellent condition, works great, zero issues, open to trades, which I always love. You got to read these details. And it says Fender Deluxe Reverb, which is an amp, Strats, Tellies, or possibly a ribbon mic. So now here's my dilemma, because he is specifically telling me what he wants. I do have a Fender Deluxe Reverb, but I don't want to get rid of it. I do have a Fender Strat, but I don't want to get rid of it. I have two Telecasters, neither one of them I want to get rid of. And even if I did want to get rid of my Strat or one of my Tellies, they're so over the value of this $900 head that it wouldn't make any sense. I would have to tell this guy, yeah, I'll trade you a 78 Telly and $2,000. You have to give me $2,000 plus the amp head, right? Which probably wouldn't make much sense for the guy, which I didn't think he would take. So I go on Sweetwater and I research the amp, and this amp, brand new, goes for $1,700, $1,699. He says it's in excellent condition. From the pictures, it looks like it's in excellent condition. What am I going to do? I don't have $900 to give the guy. I don't have anything that he wants, or I have what he wants, but I'm not willing to give it up. But I really want this amp. What can I do? This is where you have to get creative. And this is where I said at the beginning, you have to pay attention to what people want in all of these listings that you see, right? So now there's another listing on Facebook right here. It says out of stock. You can kind of guess why it's out of stock. Here is a 1997 American Standard Telecaster. This guy has had this listing on Facebook probably for a year, maybe over a year. Right? He's had this up there. No one's touching it. You know why no one's touching it? Because it's a 97 American Telecaster for $1,900. This guitar is not even close to being worth $1,900. He says it's new. He says it's rare. I don't know what rare means. I don't know. They made 1 billion of these things. Is it mint? It looks really nice. I'll give him that. It's, it's in really, really good shape. But $1,900 for a 1997, which is, if you look up like the best years to buy Fenders, or the best, Fenders by year, it tells you the worst Fenders are the 90s, the mid 90s Fenders. I bought a 97 American Standard Telly for my nephew off Craigslist for $600. Was it in this shape? No, absolutely not. It was beat to hell. It was really well played. It had a broken case. It was all messed up, but it played great. It sounded great, and it was $600. Let's say this guitar is exactly what he's saying. It plays well. It's mint condition. I personally don't think this guitar is worth any more than $1,000 to $1,200, in my opinion. The fact that this guy wants $1,900, in my opinion, was like, this guy's nuts. He's never going to sell this. And he didn't. It was up there for a year. However, he changes the title. Now, I kept this in my favorites for over a year because I was like, he's going to have to drop the price. And when he drops the price to something reasonable, I love Tellys. I don't mind picking up a Telly. Well, he changed the title to this recently while I was looking at this Friedman amp. And it says, trade for Gibson SG or low watt tube amps. Hello. I just bought 2 low watt tube amps just for the hell of it because I thought it would be good equity to have. And here we go. This guy wants a Telly. And this guy, This guy wants a low watt tube amps, and this guy wants a Tele. So now in my head, I'm like, all right, triple trade. Also, take a look at the cities these guys are in. This guy's in Spring Hill, Tennessee. This guy's in Spring Hill, Tennessee. I live in Spring Hill, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. I'm thinking triple trade in my head all day long. So I email this guy and I said, listen, I got an orange Rocker 15, brand new with the tag still on it. I have a Laney Lionheart 5-watt amp. It's it's used, but it works perfectly. The only thing is that the treble's a little scratchy. He decides, yeah, let's do it. I'll do that trade. So now I'm like, okay. So now in my head, I'm like, all right, I have to trade this guy for this Telecaster. What if the other guy doesn't want this Telecaster? Am I okay with giving up these 2 amps for this Tele? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I am. I only spent $750 on these amps. Worst case scenario is I get a mint 97 Fender Telecaster for $750 in my head, right? Because that's what I spent for those amps. So I email this guy and I take the pictures from this listing and I email them to this guy and I say, would you trade the amp for a 97 Fender Telecaster? And this guy is on YouTube just like I am. Not on YouTube, on Facebook Marketplace, just like I am all the time. All these people are. And he goes, this is a listing from somebody else on Facebook. And I said, yeah, well, I'm going to trade him some amps for the guitar. And I know that you want a Tele, or you said you would trade for a Tele. The only reason I'm trading with him, trading my amps to him, is to get the Tele so I can trade it with you. Would you be open to this trade? I was like, if you don't like, I'm going to trade for it either way. I'm going to trade for the Tele either way. If you don't like the Tele, I'll keep it. It's not a big deal. But if you do like it, would you trade for the Friedman, for the amp? Because in my head, the guitar and the amp are an even swap. Maybe the guitar is a little bit more than $900, but I also think that he's lowballing this amp. I don't think he should be selling this amp for $900. It's a $1,700 amp, brand new. He should probably be asking for $1,000 to $1,200. Same thing for that Telecaster, $1,000 to $1,200. In my head, it's an even swap, right? So he says, yeah, sure, no problem. I tell both guys to meet me at the same place in Spring Hill. We all meet at a Shell gas station, really not shady at all. I didn't tell the guy with the Telecaster that the guy with the amp was coming. The guy with the amp knew everything, but the guy with the Telecaster had no clue. So I pull up, the guy takes the Tele out of the car, the amp guy rolls in and walks over. He kind of freaks out the Tele guy, but it was all good. Didn't make a difference. He took out the Tele. Tele's absolutely dead mint. I don't know if this guy ever played it or ever even, strummed a chord on it, because there wasn't a mark on this thing. I was like, I'm cool if you're cool. If you want to do this, let's do it. And he was like, absolutely, no problem. Here you go. Have fun with the guitar. He took the amps. He left. I walked that guitar in the case to the guy's van or minivan where he had the Friedman amp in it. He strummed it. He played with the truss rod a little bit. He's like, yeah, man, this is great. I'll do the trade if you want to do the trade. And boom, just like that, I got myself what I think is almost brand new mint condition Friedman JJ Jr 20-watt head for $750. If you think about it, right? I mean, I bought 2 low-watt tube amps on a whim just because I thought maybe it could help me out in the future. I spent $750 on those, and I turned it into a $1,600 or $1,700 Friedman JJ Jr 20-watt head. Now, is that amp worth $1,700 used? Probably not, but I think it's definitely over $1,000. I would 100% say that amp is used worth over. Let's take a look at it. Let's go on Reverb, and we can look at the heads. So this one sold for $1,000. This one sold for $880. This one was $1,050. I'm only going to look at the heads. I'm not going to look at the combos. Here's a head too, $1,300. That's a combo. That don't count. 1200, 1100, 1000, 950, 900, 1300, 1200, 1000. So on average, if you take an average, it's probably going to be 1000 or over. Okay, so it's definitely worth more than 750, right? Because that's what I paid for it. I paid 750 for those 2 amps. I traded those 2 amps, turned it into this Friedman amp, and I couldn't be more happy about that. I think I got a good deal. I got an amp that I really wanted. I didn't want the orange amp. I didn't want the Laney amp. I wanted the Friedman amp. So I got the amp I wanted. Right. The moral of the story is I got the amp I wanted for as little as I think I could have paid for it, which is $750. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you're going to use these tactics. Tell me if I got a good deal or if I got a bad deal. And for the next time, until the next time, I'll see you later, everybody. Peace out.